Hi guys, my name is Joe and welcome to Fighting Words, the martial arts library. On this channel I review martial arts books and talk about other martial arts related subjects. So I'm actually going to be reading an excerpt from the book No Second Chance by Mark Hatmaker. This is going to be most, but not all, of chapter 18. I think it really highlights some important self-defense ideas, like big picture stuff that not everyone thinks of and I think should really be put out there. We humans, like our primate cousins, have opposable thumbs that enable us to grasp any object we see fit. One of the attributes that separates us from our primate cousins in the use of our opposable thumbs is the myriad objects we grasp and how we utilize these objects. Our species is descended from a line that sought to grip objects and use them in unique and creative ways. This grasping of an object and then turning it into a tool of some sort was, and is, so pronounced in hominids that one branch of our family tree has been dubbed Homo habilis, or handyman. This ability to see varied applications in grasped objects is the result of the neocortex, that vaunted overlay of the brain matter that we find in our species. The neocortex is what allows us to pick up a hammer and see it as both a tool for construction or destruction. It allows us to see a sphere and envision it as a ball to be bounced, rolled, thrown, struck with a stick, fired from a BB gun, used in machinery, embossed with continents to make a globe, and so on. This extraordinary combination of opposable thumbs and neocortex goes a long way toward explaining the success of our species in manipulating the world around us. I call your attention to these wondrous, but perhaps abstruse, in our context, facts, because it seems that so much self-defense advice is either too focused on tools or not focused enough. Let's start with too much focus. There are some among us who have permits to carry a concealed weapon, CCW in my state. In other words, they have the legal right to carry a firearm for personal protection. I think CCW licensure is a terrific idea. Nonpartisan research on the topic seems to support it as well. There also are those who carry any number of other gadgets, including pepper spray, mace, tasers, rape whistles, what have you. I do not argue against any of these tools used to provide safety for the individual, as long as the tools are used with the utmost care and responsibility. In other words, just as a CCW permit carriers have to undergo an education and safety test to carry a firearm, it might behoove the individual who is carrying any other device to have a firm, pragmatic grounding in how their device works and in what situations it might be for naught. An informal poll of those who carry self-protection gadgets reveal that the vast majority have never received any training in using the device and, more importantly, most have never used the device even in a test situation. The vast majority who carry pepper spray have never fired a can in open air to check for distance, blowback, ease of use, or any such realistic parameter whatsoever. I find it hard to believe that a tool that is meant to be used in a high-stress situation that has never been utilized in any context will be used competently or at all when needed. If you are going to entrust your life to gadgets of any stripe, please echo the responsibility of the CCW permit carriers and learn the ins and outs of the chosen gadget. Make sure you understand how to use it, when to use it, and even if the gadget in question is effective. Remember, you must plan and act now, since it is far too late for training once you are in the midst of an attack. Lest you think I am urging everyone to get a CCW permit, let's address part 2 of too much focus on the tool object. I have trained with numerous law enforcement, military, and other first response personnel in surviving personal attack for over 2 decades. These frontline warriors come in 2 forms. The first, thankfully, is the most common. The professional who understands the technology he or she is expected to use. They understand its strengths and its weaknesses. They have a healthy respect for the reality of equipment's failure, like failure in design, failure to use optimally under duress, and failure to access said equipment. These individuals take survival training seriously because the nature of their jobs, their lives, and their families depend on it. They have all these fantastic tools in their arsenal, yet they train as if they had no weapon at hand. These people are grounded in reality. The second group believes what numerous law enforcement personnel call the 100-pound badge and the 500-pound gun. This group has placed too much faith in the capabilities of their gadgets that they fail to prepare for what could occur if they encounter any equipment failures. Considering that the nature of their jobs ensures conflict, the stance seems both irresponsible and unprofessional. Let's ponder Group 1 again. If intelligent members of conflict professions who are well-armed and well-trained in the use of these arms are concerned about their failure or lack of utility, why should the average citizen who is probably less well-armed and less well-trained be any less concerned? Guns and gadgets in the hand of a well-trained citizenry is not a bad idea. What is a bad idea is an overestimation of effectiveness and an underestimation of what you could do without said gadget. It is common to see intelligent people make silly and potentially dangerous mistakes simply because they thought they had an ace in the hole. I have heard it many times. I knew it was a bad part of town, but I thought that since I had my pepper spray with me, everything would be okay. Tools should be tools, and not a crutch for poor judgment. Honestly, there's plenty of excerpts from that book that I could have chosen. I won't say that I picked this one at random, but it did stand out to me. I've actually seen both sides of the argument. You know, like I have a friend in law enforcement who trains all of his equipment, you know, from lethal down to non-lethal, from firearms down to empty hands. And I had a coworker one time who's like, I think my neighbors are sketchy, so I bought a gun, and my first question was, have you ever fired one before? And his response was no. So there's your gap. And like everything, there's a scale. You know, is training twice a week better than once a week? Probably. But anyway, I thought I would provide that, you know, for food for thought when it comes to preparing for self-defense. And if we decide to bring gadgets, as Mr. Hatmaker called them, into the arena, you know, how much we practice with them. You know, I have some EDC that I've practiced drawing, you know, just to make sure that I can do that, and, you know, doing some drills with friends to help work on, okay, well, what if someone's trying to prevent me from doing that? It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and my primary self-defense strategy is not get into any bad situations, but recognizing that I do have these tools available, you know, I do spend some time trying to hone them to varying degrees. So what about you guys? You know, if you do carry something on you, you know, even if it is not a firearm, even if it's, you know, pepper spray, a blade, something to that effect, how often do you train deploying these weapons under duress? Or have you done any test cuts, as Mr. Hatmaker mentioned, any testing of the particular spray you want to use? So just food for thought. You know, let me know in the comments if you do have any experience with any of these and what your personal approach to that is.